The moment you say your plans out loud, there is at least one person in that room who quietly starts hoping you fail. Not because they're evil, not because they hate you, but because you just triggered their instinct to compare. And the most dangerous part? That person might be smiling at you while it happens. If you've ever shared your plans with someone and suddenly everything started going sideways for no clear reason, hit subscribe. Not for me. For the version of you that got blocked and never understood why. Tap like so the algorithm sends this to people making this exact mistake right now. And drop one word in the comments, silent, if you know what it feels like to walk your path in silence. Let's strip away the fantasy. The world is not gentle, it is not fair, and it doesn't pay you for good intentions. It doesn't reward, I'm going to. It rewards, I already did. If you're ambitious, if you're smart, but you're not yet in the position that matches what you know you could be, every eye around you is running silent calculations. Where's this person going? Will they pass me? Do I need to worry? You are not living in a big, warm group chat of best friends cheering you on. You're living inside a quiet marketplace of status, comparison, and unspoken scoring systems. You are not surrounded by friends. You are surrounded by measurements. People measure your clothes, your car, your job title, your relationship, how fast you're moving, how slow you're moving, whether you're catching up to them, whether you're falling behind. And when you open your mouth and start talking about your plans, you're not sharing. You're sending out your exact GPS coordinates in that invisible ranking system. You're giving them a preview. You're giving them time. You're giving them a chance to adjust. Let's go straight for the belief that's holding you back. You've probably been told, tell people your goals so they can support you. Say it publicly so you'll feel pressure to follow through. Talk it out so you won't feel so alone carrying it. It sounds healthy, it sounds honest, it sounds mature. But here's the hit of truth. Telling people your plans does not make you move faster. It gives everyone around you time to emotionally prepare for the day you might outgrow them. They start building a future in their head where you actually win. And not everyone is okay with that. Some people will feel quietly relieved if you never get there. Some people will feel more comfortable if you stay exactly where you are. And that's the part nobody says out loud. When you announce your plans, you think you're building a support team. In reality, you're triggering a private vote. Am I ready for this person to surpass me? And many people, including the ones closest to you, are not. They may love you, they may care about you, but they also care about how they feel when they compare themselves to you. So, let me say it clearly. Announcing your plans doesn't make you disciplined. It makes you predictable. It doesn't make you more committed. It makes you more exposed. And it doesn't make other people more supportive. It just gives them time to adjust their expectations, to protect their ego, and to prepare for the moment you rise above them. That preparation is not always supportive. Sometimes it's passive resistance. Sometimes it's soft sabotage. Sometimes it's just enough doubt planted in your mind to slow you down. You think you're opening up. What you're actually doing is inviting interference. Most people won't attack you directly. They don't need to. They'll just ask the right questions. Have you really thought this through? What if it doesn't work? Are you sure you're ready? I just don't want to see you get hurt. And every one of those statements sounds like love, sounds like care. But what it actually does is inject hesitation into your system. It forces you to defend something that shouldn't need defending yet. It shifts your energy from execution to justification. And every minute you spend explaining your plan to someone else is a minute you're not building it. Here's what nobody prepared you for. The people who will slow you down the most are not your enemies. They're the people who smile at you, the people who say they want the best for you, the people who seem genuinely interested when you talk. Those are the dangerous ones, because you trust them, you open up to them, you give them access to your internal world. And they may not even realize what they're doing, but they start subtly steering you toward caution, toward delay, toward second-guessing yourself. Machiavelli understood this 500 years ago. Power weakens the moment it becomes predictable. The Stoics knew it even earlier. Never place the fate of your actions in the mouths of others. This is not about being paranoid. This is not about distrusting everyone. This is about understanding a basic truth. Secrecy is not weakness. Secrecy is armor. When no one knows your next move, no one can position themselves against it. When your results show up unannounced, they carry twice the impact. Power comes from results that appear unexpected, not from promises spoken in advance. Let that sit for a second, because that one sentence changes everything if you actually internalize it. The world does not respect what you say you're going to do. It respects what you do without warning. It respects the person who was quiet for 6 months and then suddenly launched something real. It respects the person who didn't talk about getting in shape, but just showed up one day 30 pounds lighter. It respects the person who didn't announce they were starting a business, but just sent the link when it went live. Those people are feared, not because they're smarter, not because they're luckier, but because they operate outside the predictable rhythm that everyone else follows. They don't telegraph, they don't warn, they just move. And by the time people realize what happened, it's already done. Now let's break down what actually happens inside your brain and inside the brains of people around you when you announce a plan. There are 3 psychological mechanisms at play here, and all 3 of them work against you. First, fake dopamine. Your brain evolved to reward achievement with a hit of dopamine. That chemical rush is what motivates you to take action, to push through difficulty, to finish what you started. But here's the problem. Your brain cannot tell the difference between achieving something and talking about achieving something. When you announce a big plan, when people react with excitement, when they say, "Oh wow, that's amazing," or "I'm so proud of you," your brain releases dopamine, the exact same chemical that was supposed to come after you did the work. Except you haven't done the work yet, you just talked. So what happens next? You feel satisfied. You feel like you've already made progress. And now the actual work, the grinding, the execution, the part that nobody sees, feels less urgent. Because your brain already got its reward. You tricked your own neurochemical system. You cashed the check before you earned it. Studies in goal psychology confirm this. People who publicly announce their goals are statistically less likely to complete them compared to people who keep their goals private. Why? Because announcing gave them the emotional payoff early. It satisfied the craving that should have been driving them forward. Think about the last time you told someone about something you were going to do. Maybe it was a career move, maybe it was a side project, maybe it was a fitness goal. Do you remember how good it felt when they responded positively? That warmth, that validation, that sense of being seen and supported. Now think about what happened in the weeks after that conversation. Did you move faster? Or did you feel a strange sense of deflation, like some of the fire went out? That's not a coincidence. That's your brain realizing it already got the reward it was chasing. Second mechanism, social comparison. This one runs deep. When someone hears about your plans, especially plans that involve you growing, improving, advancing, their brain immediately runs a calculation, not a conscious one, not something they decide to do, but automatic, instant, subconscious. The question their brain asks is, what does this mean for me? If this person succeeds, where does that leave me? If they level up, do I look smaller? If they move ahead, am I falling behind? This is called status threat. And when people experience status threat, even at a subconscious level, their behavior toward you changes. Not dramatically, not obviously, but it changes. They become slightly less warm, slightly more skeptical, slightly slower to help, slightly quicker to point out risks. They don't hate you, they're not plotting against you, but their brain is protecting their sense of position, and that protection comes at your expense. Here's the cruelest part. The people who feel the strongest status threat are not the ones far above you or far below you. It's the people at your level, your peers, your co-workers, your friends who are in the same stage of life. Those are the ones whose brains light up with comparison when you announce upward movement. Because your success doesn't just reflect on you, it reflects on them. If you break out and they don't, it raises a question they don't want to face. Why them and not me? So, when you tell them your plans, you're not recruiting allies, you're triggering a recalibration. And that recalibration often results in subtle resistance. Not loud, not obvious, just enough friction to slow you down. Just enough doubt to make you question yourself. Just enough concern to make you feel like maybe you're moving too fast. Maybe you should wait. Maybe you're not ready yet. Third mechanism, and this is the most insidious, soft interference. This is where people don't sabotage you directly. They don't need to. They just manage your expectations. They frame their resistance as care, as realism, as looking out for you. They say things like, "I just want to make sure you've thought about this. What's your backup plan? I knew someone who tried that, and it didn't go well. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be careful." Every single one of those sentences sounds reasonable, sounds supportive, sounds like someone who cares. But functionally, what is it doing? It's planting doubt. It's making you defend a decision that you hadn't fully committed to yet. It's forcing you into justification mode. And every moment you spend justifying your plan to someone else, you're spending emotional and mental energy that should be going into execution. Worse, their questions start echoing in your head. You start asking yourself the same things. What if they're right? What if I haven't thought this through? What if I'm being impulsive? And now you're not moving forward with conviction. You're moving forward while constantly looking over your shoulder, second-guessing, hedging, preparing for failure before you've even tried. And that energy, that lack of full commitment, that's often what causes the plan to fail. Not because the plan was bad, but because you approached it with one foot out the door, ready to say, "See, I knew it might not work," so you don't have to face the embarrassment of having really tried and really failed. Let me tell you about someone. I'm not going to say his name, but this is real. He had a plan to leave his corporate job and build his own thing. He'd been thinking about it for over a year. He had savings. He had a clear model. He had the skills. He was ready. But because he was excited, because he thought these were his people, he shared the plan with his close circle. Not everyone, just the inner circle, the people he trusted. No one told him it was a bad idea. No one said don't do it. They just asked questions, thoughtful questions, concerned questions. What's your timeline? How much runway do you have? What if clients don't come as fast as you think? Have you considered how this will affect your relationship? What does your partner think? Are you sure this is the right time with everything going on in the economy? And every question sounded legitimate, sounded caring, but every question also added weight. 6 months later, he still hadn't made the move. Not because he failed, not because the plan fell apart, but because he got slow. He got cautious. He started overthinking. He started seeing risks he hadn't seen before. He started preparing for problems that didn't exist yet. And the more he prepared, the less he acted. The opportunity didn't disappear. His conviction did. And here's the twist that breaks my heart every time I think about it. No one destroyed him. No one blocked him. They just made him doubt himself. That's all it took. You don't need enemies to fail. You just need people who love you enough to worry about you out loud. Because that worry becomes your worry. And worry is the slowest poison. Now let me show you what this looks like in real time. Imagine someone approaches you. Could be a coworker, could be a friend, could be family. And they say, "Hey, I heard you're working on something big. What's going on?" Old version of you takes the bait. You think, "Oh, they're interested. They care. This is support." So you explain. You lay out the plan. You share the vision. You talk about the timeline. Maybe you even ask what they think. And you believe that openness shows confidence. You believe that sharing builds connection. But here's what's really happening in that moment. You are being measured. You are being filed into a category in their mind. The part of them that calculates status and position is activating. And the second you finish talking, the questions start. How are you going to handle X? Have you thought about Y? What if Z happens? I'm not trying to discourage you, I'm just curious. And with every question, you feel your certainty shrink a little. Not because the questions are wrong, but because you're being forced to defend something that shouldn't be on trial yet. You're being forced to have all the answers before you've had the chance to find them through action. And that pressure, that premature scrutiny, that's what kills most plans before they even start. Now imagine the new version of you. Same scenario. Someone says, "Hey, I heard you're working on something big. What's going on?" And you just smile and say, "Just handling some things. Nothing major. That's it. Flat. Simple. No details. No invitation to probe. Not rude. Not defensive. Just dismissive enough to close the door without slamming it." And here's what's beautiful about that response. It doesn't create tension. It doesn't make you look secretive in a weird way. It just signals this is not up for discussion. And most people will take the hint and move on. The ones who don't, the ones who keep pushing, those are the ones you needed to keep out anyway. 3 months later, the thing you were working on goes live, or it succeeds, or it becomes visible, and now people find out the same way everyone else does, when it's done, when it's real, when their opinion no longer matters. They can't question what's already built. They can't plant doubt in something that's already succeeded. They can't slow down something that already finished. And that's the position of power. Not explaining, not defending, just showing up with results and letting those results speak. That's the difference. Old you was asking for permission through announcement. New you understands that permission is never granted. It's taken through execution. Now let's zoom out, because this is not just a communication tactic. This is not about being mysterious for the aesthetic. This is about fundamentally exiting a role that most people are trapped in without even realizing it. The role of someone who needs external validation to feel real. Most people announce plans because they need someone else to believe in them before they can believe in themselves. They share dreams because they need someone else to confirm that the dream is valid. They make promises because they need someone else to witness those promises, to feel accountable. But here's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. If you need other people to validate your plan before you execute it, you don't actually believe in the plan yet. You're outsourcing your conviction. And the moment you outsource your conviction, you give other people control over your momentum. You turn them into gatekeepers. And most people, even good people, are terrible gatekeepers. Because they're not invested in your success the way you are. They're invested in their comfort, in their sense of stability, in not being left behind. Strong people do not announce, not because they're hiding, but because they don't need an audience during the building phase. They know the world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards outcomes. And outcomes have an authority that no amount of advanced explanation can replicate. When someone shows up with something already done, the conversation shifts entirely. It's no longer "should you do this?" It's "how did you do this?" That shift is everything. When you stop announcing, you stop being someone who can be talked out of things. You stop being someone whose confidence can be eroded by concern. You stop being someone who moves at the pace of consensus. And you start being someone who operates outside the predictable rhythm. Someone people can't track, can't predict, can't prepare for. And that unpredictability is one of the most valuable assets you can have, because people can't block what they don't see coming. Think about the people you actually respect, not the people you like, not the people who are loud, but the people you genuinely respect. Chances are they don't talk much about what they're doing. They just do it. And then one day, you notice. You notice they're in better shape. You notice they launched something. You notice they're in a different position. And you think, wait, when did that happen? That's the feeling. That's the impact of moving in silence. It's not about secrecy for its own sake. It's about focusing all your energy on execution instead of explanation. Every conversation where you defend your plan is energy that could have gone into building it. Every moment you spend managing someone else's doubt is a moment you're not managing your own progress. Every time you explain yourself, you're reinforcing the idea that your actions need external approval. And they don't. They never did. You just thought they did because you were taught to value being understood over being effective. But effectiveness doesn't require understanding. It requires commitment. It requires focus. And it requires protecting your internal conviction from people who, intentionally or not, will erode it if you give them access. So here's the final question. The one that determines whether this was just an interesting video or whether it actually changes the way you operate. If you need to announce your plans to feel like those plans are real, you're not ready for power yet, and that's okay. Most people never get ready. Most people stay in the cycle of seeking validation, getting discouraged, adjusting based on feedback, and wondering why they never break through. But if you can sit with being misunderstood, if you can handle being underestimated, if you can accept that some people will think you're not doing anything while you're actually building everything, and if you can show up only when you've already won, then you're ready. Then stay here. Because this channel is not for people who need constant reassurance. It's not for people who need their hand held. It's for people who move in silence and show up with proof. People who understand that silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. People who know that the most dangerous person in any room is not the loudest. It's the one no one saw coming. You don't owe anyone your roadmap. You don't owe anyone your timeline. You don't owe anyone early access to your vision so they can poke holes in it before it's bulletproof. Your job is not to make people comfortable with your ambition. Your job is to execute that ambition while they're busy underestimating you. Move in silence. Let results make noise. And when people finally ask how you did it, smile and give them nothing. Because by then, it won't matter what you say. They'll already see what you built. And their questions, their doubts, their concerns, none of it will matter anymore. Because you didn't need their permission. You just needed your own conviction. And you protected that conviction by keeping your mouth shut until the work was done. That's power. That's strategy. And that's how you win while everyone else is still talking about winning.